Looking for delicious, healthy holiday cookies that are also good for you? Watch this video because today we're making 3 different recipes that you are going to love. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to Keep Up With Liv, the place where we make delicious paleo recipes and talk about what the ingredients can do for your health. So the first healthy cookie we are making are these berry thumbprint cookies. I'm starting off by mashing up some raspberries. You can use both fresh or frozen here. I had fresh on hand, so I just used that, and I'm mashing them up so that we're gonna create this really nice jam with fresh berries and no added sugar. To that, I'm adding in a tablespoon of chia seeds, which have really great omega-3s, protein, and fiber. So just stir that together with a little bit of vanilla, and we're gonna set that to the side while we assemble our dough. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow it to thicken, and it's gonna help create that nice jammy texture that we're looking for in our thumbprint cookies. In a separate bowl, I'm gonna take 1 egg and crack that in. And to that, I'm going to be adding in some maple syrup, and you can definitely use honey here too if you don't have maple syrup. And then I'm gonna add in a little bit of vanilla as well as some coconut oil, which is a great source of healthy fats and not only helps to nourish and protect the gut, but also helps to make these cookies very satiating and yummy while keeping them moist. So just whisk all of the wet ingredients together. And then to that, I'm gonna be adding in some coconut flour along with some almond flour, both of which are high in fiber, healthy fats, and vitamin E. Again, not only will help satiate you, but are also really good for your skin and your gut. I'm gonna add in some baking soda and then mix that together, and this is going to be the base of our dough. So this is a very delicious, like just normal dough on its own. So if you don't even want to do the berry thumbprint part, you can just make cookies out of this, and you just get a very nice, yummy, basic cookie recipe. So once that is all nice and mixed, I'm just using a little scooper to scoop out a little bit of my thumbprint cookie, and I'm gonna roll that into a little bit of a ball and just flatten it down with my fingers. And then I am just using my finger to make a little hole in the center because we're gonna be adding in that chia jam that we made earlier. So just do this to each of your cookies until you have all of them. And then you're gonna take your chia jam mixture and you're gonna put that in the center. Now, if you don't like raspberries, you can definitely do this with strawberry, blueberry, any kind of berry that you like. Just mash it up and use that in the center. You can even do a combo of 2 different berries if you wanted to, or a blend of berries. So if you wanted to do a raspberry blueberry mixture, you could definitely do 2 at a time as well. So we're gonna put those in the oven and bake them, and once they're done, you have these delicious berry thumbprint cookies made with good for you ingredients, and guys, they taste so amazing and they're so festive too. Next up, we're making peppermint mocha cookies. So if you saw my holiday cookies recipe video last year, you saw me make peppermint cookies, and this year I'm doing a little bit of a twist by adding in a little bit of mocha flavor. So I'm combining some coconut oil and some coconut sugar, and I'm just stirring that together to allow the sugar to dissolve a little bit. And then to that, I'm adding in some peppermint extract. But if you also have peppermint essential oil that is food grade, you can definitely just do 1 or 2 drops of that. To make it mocha, I'm adding in a heaping tablespoon of ground espresso. I did decaf just because if you did normal caffeinated and you had one of these cookies late at night, it could keep you up. I'm adding in some arrowroot powder, which really gives the cookies a nice soft, chewy texture, as well as some cacao. And then for the main flour, I'm using almond flour here. It works really well. It's loaded with healthy fats, protein, and fiber, and also provides more blood sugar stabilization than your normal grain-filled flour. So that's what's great about almond flour, is that it does help with those healthy fats and that fiber. Then I'm going to be adding in 2 whisked eggs to our mixture and just folding those in until our batter is nice and combined. Now you can definitely leave out the espresso powder if you don't want that coffee flavor and you just want a plain peppermint cookie. Definitely leave that out if you want. If you don't have espresso powder, you can also use like instant coffee or whatever kind of ground coffee that you have on hand will work definitely in this recipe. And then we are going to be adding in some dairy-free chocolate chips. So I did about a 1/4 cupful, and then we're gonna fold those in until that is distributed all throughout of our dough. Then I'm just taking a baking sheet, which I lined with a silicone mat. I find these silicone mats are really easy to use. If you don't have silicone mats, I would suggest parchment paper. It just makes cleanup a lot easier, or grease your baking sheet. So I'm using a spoon and I'm just making my cookies. Now I like my cookies to be like a proper size cookie versus like mini cookies. So I would say I use about 2.5 tablespoons per cookie. Flatten that out, and then I'm topping it with a little bit of crushed candy cane. I found these at my local Whole Foods and they were made with real food ingredients. The color in them was made with beet juice, so there's no red dye or anything like that. So if you can, try to find the candy canes that are made with real ingredients and then bake them, and you have these wonderfully delicious peppermint mocha cookies that have so much flavor and so delicious. And then we are making a chai snickerdoodle cookie. So I'm starting off with some maple syrup, and to that I am going to be adding in some coconut oil. Now, if you are looking for a gingerbread recipe, I do have one for last year that I will link down below, because I know that's another classic holiday cookie flavor. So if you're missing the gingerbread, I do have a recipe for that, and I will leave that down below. Adding in an egg and some vanilla, and then we are just going to combine our wet ingredients. I will also leave my whole holiday playlist down below too, so if you want more holiday recipes, be sure to check that out. To that, I'm adding in some almond flour as well as some coconut flour and some baking soda. You guys see the blend of flours really works well and helps to create a really nice texture to the cookie. Then I'm adding in a spice blend, which is just some cardamom, some ginger, and some cinnamon, and all the ratios will be left in the description box below so that you can follow along. But those are the three main spices that are in chai. Cardamom is a little bit more difficult to find. You might have to go to a larger grocery store to find it, but I did find it at my local one. So just fold all of those ingredients together until it is nice and combined and you have a nice moist wet dough so that we can scoop out our cookies. So again, I have my baking sheet lined with a silicone mat and I'm scooping out some of my cookies. And the great thing about all of these dough recipes is that they are definitely freezable both before and after. So if you want to make a big batch of the dough and then freeze it and bake them off fresh, you can definitely do that with each of them. Or if you want to bake off a huge batch of cookies and you're not going to eat them all within, I would say, 24 to 48 hours, keep them in the freezer because that actually keeps them more fresh than the fridge. Little known secret is that the fridge actually dries out most cookies. So after I bake these, I just drizzled them with a little bit of coconut butter just because I think they add a little bit of basically icing on the top, and then that way they also look a little bit extra pretty and a little bit extra festive. So I'm just drizzling that on the top. The great thing about coconut butter too is that once it hardens, it's not going to be soft on the cookie, right? Because it's hard, so you're not like worried about the cookies are messy, so you can kind of like stack them and not worry about it. So I drizzle that on the top, and then just for a little bit of garnish, I just drizzled a little bit of cinnamon on the top while the coconut butter was setting so that it would set into the coconut butter. But these are so wonderfully flavorful and delicious and a little bit different than your regular holiday cookie. So I hope you guys enjoyed those healthy cookie recipes. If you make them, be sure to tag me on Instagram so that I can share them. If I had to choose a favorite, I don't know. I'm really into the Thumbprint cookies this year. I definitely haven't had them in a few years. And when I made this recipe, I was like, oh my God, they're so good. So I think that one is my favorite. Make sure you subscribe because in my next video, it's going to be my first Vlogmas video. So it's going to be like, I'm going to do it by week. So every week there's going to be like a different Vlogmas video. It's going to be festive stuff. I'm making recipes. I'm doing tips for the holidays, all that kind of stuff, but just more like casual videos. So it's going to be really fun. Make sure you subscribe for that. I'm also going to leave my holiday playlist right here so you can get lots more healthy recipes. There's breakfast ones like gingerbread pancakes. There's Nanaimo bars. There's peppermint bark. There's so many good, really good recipes in there. So check that out after this video. I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.